A common question I get from GP trainees is, when should I do ICE? Should I ask about idea, concern and expectation at the beginning of the consultation, or should I keep it for later? Eliciting ideas, concern and expectation is vital. If you don't know what's on your patient's mind, how can you address their worries, their concerns? How can you manage their expectations? If you want to know how to elicit ideas, concern and expectation and integrate it in your clinical management, keep watching this video. Thank you for stopping by this video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Dr. Erwin Kwun. I'm on a mission to help doctors lead a happier and fulfilled life. I make new videos every Thursday on the subject of GP training, well-being and high performance. Every Thursday I publish a new video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future videos. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified first each time I publish a new video. GP trainees often ask idea, concern and expectation as if they're going through a checklist. The questions are asked with a formulaic intention. I'm not saying having a structure is not useful to keep your consultation organized. However, you don't want to apply a rigid structure to the point of eliciting idea, concern and expectation without showing awareness of the situation. Otherwise, your consultation will be too rigid. In other words, don't force idea, concern and expectation. Let the conversation flow and uncover any ideas, concern or expectation as you take a history from your patient. Each patient is unique, and depending on how the consultation progresses, you might want to elicit idea, concern and expectation at the beginning, or you might want to keep it for later. Let me give you a working example. If a patient tells you that he's worried about something in the first minute of a consultation, this is a cue to elicit idea, concern and expectation, as the patient brought up the subject naturally. On the other hand, it might be more appropriate to let the patient tell you the story about how they felt before eliciting idea, concern and expectation. As you have gathered, there's no hard and fast rule when to elicit ICE in a consultation. Remember, idea and concern come before expectation. Be curious to learn whether your patient has any thoughts, what's going on, anything on their mind, have they got any particular concerns. It is important to show empathy when a patient opens up to you with ideas and concern. It might be the first time that they're opening up to somebody about their fear, perhaps fear of cancer. For instance, if a patient tells you that he's worried that he might have cancer, it would be insensitive to carry on asking questions without picking up on what the patient has just said. Acknowledge patient's concern and show empathy. I hear you. I can see that's a concern. Be congruent and mean what you say. When you ask about expectation, be careful how you phrase your question. Patient might find it strange if you just ask them, "What did you expect?" A useful question to gauge patient's expectation would be, "What were you hoping I could do to help you today?" Let me share a story with you. Mrs. Smith presents with right-sided headache. This has been going on for the last 4 weeks. She's worried that she might have a brain tumor. She consults her doctor, who sensibly elicits idea, concern and expectation. The doctor makes a diagnosis of migraine and recommends sumatriptan to help with the symptom. Can you think of what important things that need to be discussed in the consultation? Let me know down in the comment section what you think are important to discuss. A common pitfall candidates make is to forget about idea, concern and expectation they have gathered in the first half of the consultation. It is no good to elicit idea, concern and expectation and not doing anything about them. When Mrs. Smith went home, she was still worried about a brain tumor. Her concern about a brain tumor was not readdressed in the consultation. In medicine, we don't merely treat diseases. We treat patients who suffer with diseases, patients who have worries, concerns and their own health agenda. We ought to consider the psychology of that patient. It's crucial to not only elicit idea, concern and expectation, but also to readdress them in the second half of the consultation. What you want to do is to integrate the patient's ideas, concern and expectation in your discussion of the management plan. Tie the ideas, concern and expectation when you explain your working diagnosis and you formulate a shared treatment plan with your patient. This will ensure a patient-centered approach and improve the quality of care you provide. If you found these tips on idea, concern and expectation useful, you might be interested in RCA Blueprint. This is a blueprint where we discuss strategies and techniques to help you crack the RCA. I'd like to give you a free copy of the RCA Blueprint, link in the description below. Click the link down in the description below to download your free copy of the RCA Blueprint. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know down in the comment section. Take care everybody, bye bye.